You ready, everybody? We're live streaming Coffee with Kehoe for the first time. And, we have millions of viewers already, so I imagine we're going to get more, but here we go. So, I'm Bill Kehoe. I am the host of Coffee with Kehoe, and usually Amy Pearson is my co-host, but she's a panel member today, and she's really the reason why we have all the viewers. It's definitely not me. Our session today is a powerful session. It's called Voices at the Table. What does it take to build an inclusive IT leadership team? And that's important. And that's what we're here to explore. Across our state's technology community, we know that innovation doesn't happen when everyone looks the same and thinks the same, or has the same lived experiences. It happens when we bring diverse forces together and when we intentionally create space for talent to contribute and lead. Today we're joined by an incredible panel of IT leaders. I'm very honored to have them with me today, who bring deep experience and sharp insight and passion for shaping a more inclusive future. You'll hear stories about what helped them succeed, what barriers still exist, and what practical steps leaders can take to support women and unrepresented talent in IT. My hope is that we will all listen. You'll take away not just ideas, but actions in ways each of us, regardless of our role, can build teams that reflect the richness of our communities and unlock greater equity, engagement, and innovation. So grab your coffee. Let's jump in. We don't have coffee. Oh my gosh.
We need to produce the coffee.
Oh man, yeah, that was a stage oversight there. Okay, are you ready to go? We're going to start with you, Callie.
You're right.
Okay, so I want you to introduce yourself and a little bit about your background, and tell us about your thoughts on the importance of a diverse workforce and leadership team and why.
Great. Thanks for having me today. I've been waiting to get on your couch or panel or something. I'm a big fan of Coffee with Kehoe, obviously.
Thank you.
So, hi, everybody. I'm Callie Goldsby. I'm the Chief Information Officer at the Washington State Department of Commerce. I'm a 27-year public servant, and I've spent my entire career at 5 different state agencies. I'm blessed to have worked with some of the most amazing IT teams along the way, and I have had so many amazing leaders and mentors that have come before me that have helped shape my career today, and I believe it's my job to do that for others. However, I will say that my most important job, and I just had to fulfill a task a little bit ago, is, I'm a mama to my sweet 16-year-old neurospicy little teenager daughter, Delaney. She keeps this single mom on her toes, probably more than all the things that keep us CIOs up at night. But she definitely tests my ability to communicate and my patience, which actually I think really helps me as a leader in my career. So I wouldn't trade that job for the world. So that's always the thing that I'm striving to be, is a great mom. But I also think it's really important to bring all kinds of humans to the workplace and to your teams. And we, whether you are building a team or transforming an existing team, which I'm doing now in my role at Commerce, I appreciate having people that don't think like me. I like to think I know everything. Well, really, I don't. I want people to have independent thoughts, and I want them to bring those ideas and those approaches to the table and the different lived experiences they've had in their careers, in their lives, in the people they've served over the years. And that helps make us stronger, and we are able to serve people better when we have those types of people on your teams. And if our teams don't represent the communities that we serve, we miss needs. We miss, and we have blind spots. And there's unintended impacts to that. This includes people from different diverse backgrounds, people who think differently, people who need time to analyze, people who are quick on their feet. and people from all different disciplines and non-traditional technology roles. You know, I think that all of those things wrapped together help to take your leadership team to the next level. And if you have just a bunch of people that are just going to tell me yes, just like you, if everybody on your team tells you yes, then you feel pretty good, but maybe you're not covering everything, right?
I really yearn for that day when they all say yes to me. It hasn't happened yet.
It feels good in the moment, but I think you miss an opportunity, right? So, you know, I appreciate other viewpoints and other experiences because you can't modernize with the same thinking that we've always had. And all that same thinking that built all these legacy systems that we're now dealing with, how are you going to do things differently? You're going to keep repeating that pattern. So having different people from different backgrounds at your table help you to think about how to solve those problems in different ways. So that's my story.
That's great. And we're fortunate to have you at our state of Washington. You do great work. Okay, Amy, you're next. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Introduce yourself, first of all.
Yes.
And most important, the co-host of Coffee with
Yes,
Kehoe.
thank you.
And what are your thoughts on the importance of a diverse workforce and leadership team, and why?
Great. Well, thank you. And yes, Amy Pearson, Chief of Staff and co-host to Coffee with Kehoe, also Policy Director for WaTech, and Legislative Director. So have a very unique perspective, which does expose me to very diverse, projects, agencies, and the exposure to different ways of solving problems and meeting people's needs is all done with our diverse workforce. And I think, Kelly, you said it just a minute ago, that our workforce should represent the people that we serve here in Washington. And if it doesn't, then we're disproportionately out of whack with making sure that we're meeting all our residents' needs. And so I think just having a diverse workforce, for me, it's less about diversity and more about just getting it done. Like, I'm looking for the people that are driven to action, and oftentimes that does include a diverse workforce because you're all driving towards the same mission or have the same passion, and that's what I'm looking for in a workforce.
Great. And now we have Shalini, and I said your name right?
Yes, you did. You did.
It only took me a couple of years. And
3 years to be precise.
3 years, yes. And Shalini used to be with us. We miss her, but I'm sure she's doing great things. So it's great to have you with us today on Coffee with Kehoe.
Thank
So
you, Will.
you got the question?
Yep.
All right. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shalini Joshi. I'm the CIO at Seattle Housing Authority. I've spent much of my career in private sector, in various IT leadership roles. And then 5 years ago, I took an intentional step to join public service. I was the CIO for DES, then I was in OFM, and then I moved to Housing Authority. You asked a very interesting question, and I hear from Callie and Amy, and I want to change my answer the way I wrote it. But I do want to say that I stand here on the shoulders of many people, many women, many mentors, many sponsors. I'm here because, I worked hard for it, but also because my leadership has been shaped by many leaders and mentors and sponsors who have provided me the support that I needed, been my sounding board, my thought partner, sometimes my sanity check. Thank you, Bill. My shoulder to cry. Many times, my biggest cheerleaders, they've spoken for me, about me in rooms where I wasn't there. So what I learned from them is that, in IT, we build tools, we look for experts, but we often forget that we also need perspectives in order to create some really solid tools. And so I shape my leadership behind that. And I hope that I am a good leader for Housing Authority, and that helps me keep grounded. So that's my introduction. Thank you for having me here, Bill.
Yes, pleasure. All right. And should we see Dr. Johnson, or should we call you Dr. Kristen?
Oh, Kristen, please.
Well, you are a doctor.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Yes. All right. Well, welcome.
And that is going to influence some of my answers.
Yes.
So,
And take it away.
thank you, Kristen Johnson. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I lead for AWS, the U.S. Public Sector's strategic engagement teams. So all things data and all things digital innovation. But Bill, before we started, you said this was supposed to be about personal stories and vulnerability. And so, to get a little bit personal, other more interesting things about me, I'm a card-carrying comic book geek. I've been reading comics since I learned how to read, and I still dress up as superheroes and villains on the weekend. I have 10 dogs. Anybody have pets? Oh, that's a lot of hands out there.
10.
10. We didn't intend to. That's a long conversation, a cocktail conversation. And speaking of cocktails, my cocktail is a dirty Belvedere martini with blue cheese stuffed olives. So if you would like to talk comics, pets, or cocktails, hit me up at the reception. But was that personal enough?
Yeah. Order
Okay.
up, by the way, out there.
So, again, to the spirit of being very personal, being a PhD researcher at heart, there were two academic pieces that rocked my world very early on. And one of them was a landmark MIT study that showed that teams are that they can solve problems faster and better when they have three qualities that are unexpected. The first is that they have social skills, social sensitivity. The second is that they don't let just a couple people dominate the conversation. And the third is they have a higher percentage of women. Woo! Although percentage, because we still want to have everybody involved. And then the second piece that really struck me was there was an HBR article that basically said, you don't need a women's networking group. And the premise behind it wasn't so much that it was just focused on women and networking. It was that we need more balanced networking in our careers to be able to succeed. And so both of those really, really impressed me. And now, the final vulnerable thing, Bill, is I feel a little bit like which of these things is not like the other because you all know each other. So I'm just privileged to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's great. Love your energy. Thank you. Yes, 10 dogs. Can anyone top that?
No.
Okay, here's the second question, and I'm not going to go in any order, so anyone can volunteer to answer. But can you share a moment in your career that shaped you and how you lead today? Or maybe share who's your pivotal ally or mentor in your journey? You mentioned some of you mentioned that and how important that is. Or maybe a team that was really inclusive, and high performing. So hit on any of those points, and anybody can answer. Yes, thank you.
Can you hear me? Okay, yeah, I can hear myself. So I would say could you repeat the question one more time?
It's 3 questions.
Okay, just mush it up.
Can you share a moment in your career that shaped how you lead
Yes.
today? Or a mentor or an ally?
Okay. I think I can combine all of them. I had a privilege. I have to say I've had many, many mentors in my career so far. And it's not mentor from who is my manager or I'm actively seeking. I'm one of those who grew up in a family where we were forced or encouraged where it was forced as a child, and then it was encouraged gently and highly encouraged to have a very learning mindset, because you get to learn from everybody and anybody that you interact with. There is always something to take back that can become a life lesson for you. And so I had a privilege initially to work with a manager who actually, for my first job, and I was here in the United States, as an adult, and it was a great career shock and not career culture shock, and I was trying to figure out my bearings and all, and in that moment, the manager that I had and the peers that I had, they provided me a lot of psychological safety to be myself, to be able to express and share my journey and share my discomfort. They never left me alone, whether it was intentionally, unintentionally, physically. There was always a leaning in, like, hey, is this okay? Do you eat this? Or like, tell me more about this, or how do you? So there was a lot of curiosity. And that really helped me to do my best in that team, to be able to bring my whole self in. And that really sat with me. And I would like to emulate that leadership wherever I go, is that creating that psychological safety for that individual, whoever is part of my team, to be able to express who they are. Because an individual is the human being is what matters to me, what they bring to the table. The rest of it is okay. The gender is okay. Whatever else is okay. But bring your whole self. Bring your perspective. Bring your mind. Help us do better. Help us do great things. And I continue and try to, and I aspire to do that in my leadership.
That's fantastic. Anybody else?
So that was gorgeous, by the way. That was a gorgeous response. I think I had less gentle mentors, to use that phrase. And I had one very early on who put things in perspective by, Kristen, I realize that you are stressed and nervous about this, but they're not going to kill you and eat you. Okay. Which wasn't very gentle, but it certainly put things in perspective. And the same mentor also told me, you can't help having emotions at work. A lot of times women in particular can get accused of being too emotional. But she also talked about, we experience emotions 90% of the time. And so it's unavoidable. And another trick that she taught me that I think I still use, I used then and I've used throughout my career, is the 10-10-10 rule, which is, are you going to care about this in 10 days? Are you going to care about this in 10 months? Are you going to care about this with 10 years? And if the answer to any of those is no, let it go. And so I use that as a personal mantra almost daily, not just to control emotions, but certainly as an outlet. So less gentle.
Yeah, write that down, everybody. That's
I'm hearing
a
a
good
theme of 10 from Dr. Johnson.
Oh my gosh, there is. And it's spelled Kristen.
I'll share about my mentorship journey. I had one of the best CIO mentors forever at the Department of Health. Jennifer McNamara, she just retired after 43 years in state government. Last week, she's now living the good life down in Arizona. She was the first female CIO at Department of Health, and I always thought that was pretty awesome. And for the first time, when she became and moved into that role, I could clearly see, I want to do that. That's what I want to be. That's where I want to get to. How do I do that? I need to figure this out. And her and I had worked together for many years before she had moved into the CIO role. She held many roles at DOH, being there almost 30 years. And she just took me under her wing, and we became this magical team. She did not believe in positional power or she's the top dog and I'm just there to serve her. She was very much about shared leadership. And she put me in positions that I didn't think I was ready for on so many occasions that I was a little bit nervous. And she's like, you're going to be fine. Just go do it. Think about it this way. And once I started doing that, I started to realize, oh, maybe I could belong here and this is the right thing to do. And, she always brought me in and we made decisions together. And I had a different viewpoint, or I approached it differently. I was a lot more, growing up, I was a developer. I worked in operations. I worked on the customer consulting side. I worked in project management. I worked kind of all over the place, but I was a lot more technical in nature than she was. And so we both together made this fantastic team. And so I always felt like valued for what I was doing, and it helped me think about if and when I make it to that role, I need to do that for others, because that's all of the time and effort she paid into me. It's my job to pay that forward. And she kept me grounded, and I think we made better decisions together because we always had each other to bounce ideas off of, think through things. And I think this was so profound for me, because that is exactly the blueprint that I am using as I'm a leader and as I grow my teams. And I've had the opportunity now to be the CIO at Department of Health for a few years, and now I'm at Department of Commerce, and I've had 2 deputy CIOs since my time being a deputy, moving into the CIO, and then moving on. And I've had just amazing people have had me. Actually, one of them just retired with JMAC last week as well, Rachel Johnson at DOH. And then I now have Angela Kleiss, who I stole from WaTech, and she's wonderful and amazing. And Bill held that over me for a little bit, but he finally let it go and just wants us to do great things. But I think it's my job to grow them so they can replace me, so that they have the opportunity to lead at that place. And I love coaching, I love learning from them, and I love the different perspective that they bring, because like I said before, I don't know it all, and if I have a great team that has lots of different ideas and ways to move things forward, that's how we do better. And I think I'm a better CIO because I have a great team around me, and I can't do it on my own. Certainly not. I moved from a little bit bigger agency with a bigger team to, a small agency, huge impact in the state, and a very small IT team. And it's like, oh, I used to have 10 people to do that. Now I got to figure out how to think about it differently and get the most out of those great people that I have, and to help them grow in what I'm doing. And I guess what I could say is that find a mentor that will pour into you and that is not afraid to tell you when you're too hot and you need to adjust your sails, or you need to adjust your approach, or you handled that completely wrong, but that's okay. We're going to learn from it, and here's what we need to do. And I think that in those moments is where I learn the most. And so I've become a lot more reflective and thoughtful, and I still come in hot sometimes. But I also am very good about thinking, how could I approach that differently? What would JMAC do? She has a lot of isms, and her number one is your ego is not your amigo. And we had to have that conversation with many staff over the years, and it's just, you got to just take a step back and learn and grow and move it forward. So,
Great. Amy, do you have anything to add about maybe a moment in your career that shaped how you lead today, or an ally or mentor, or?
I do.
How amazing
I was
Bill
gonna
is, that's what he's hoping for.
I know that my mentor is Bill. Actually, several of the panelists have said the same thing of finding a mentor, and whether that's through an official mentorship means or throughout my career, I've been an assertive friend maker. I find people that I like. There's something about them. They're bright and shiny, and they've got energy, and they resonate with what they're trying to accomplish resonates with me. And so I am not shy, and will go up and say, I like what you had to say, and I want to be friends. Find those people that you connect with and learn from them in both a supportive as well as a supporting role. I just think that's so important, both personally and in careers.
Great. I'm learning a lot. Thank you all. This has been great so far. This might be our highest rated show at this rate.
It's only because we have so many, we're all going to go vote for ourselves, Bill.
That's right. All
Which
right,
you shouldn't be afraid to do, just to be clear.
So let's see if we can work in something around 10 into this segment. Innovation and the value of diverse leadership. All right, so in your experience, how does diversity at the leadership table tangibly improve innovation and problem solving? Or does it? And when, do you have an example of when diverse thinking has led to a breakthrough or a better outcome in your work? And again, I'll open it up to anybody that wants to start.
I think for me, I'll start with like my worldview, which I believe in abundance and not scarcity. So when we talk about diversity, we're talking about abundance of ideas and innovation, and that is only going to serve us in solving these tough, difficult situations. So it's essential.
You know, I said a little bit earlier, people with different backgrounds ask different questions. And, you know, if everyone on your team thinks the same way, it gets pretty boring, and you're not very creative, and you really don't have the ability to really be innovative because you're just always thinking away the way that you've always done things. And so I think that when you have and you bring in different leaders with different diversity, it just brings a different approach. And I think that you can solve problems faster, you can move faster with innovation, and you actually might have some great ideas that you could probably take action on, because just sitting around talking about it gets old.
So, in the spirit of Artemis 2, or if you've been to the movies to see Project Hail Mary yet, I'm kind of into that scientific mode. And obviously, I don't know if I can build 10 into this, though, Bill. But an
Please
example,
try.
I will try. An example of one of the things that stuck with me is, you know, it's not one of my own teams, but thinking about NASA and dating myself a little bit, the Challenger explosion, you know. Okay, that's not that far ago. And, you know, NASA had a fundamental humbling because, you know, so much of that was attributed to groupthink, which that tunnel vision is exactly the problem when there aren't diverse leaders. And so NASA had to change the way that they structured teams and decision making. So by 2012, when the Mars Curiosity rover was released, in designing that, they actually put together a very inclusive team. Not just gender, not just race, different backgrounds, different specialties, different points of view. And so they brought together engineers that weren't aerospace engineers, external consultants, a variety even of, at the time, this wasn't as popular as it is now, data scientists. And because of that, they were able to create a completely new way for the Curiosity rover to be dispatched, which was a long tether that was attached to the basically giant drone that it was being dropped from instead of parachutes. And again, it's just the scientific nature that appeals to me, and it's a reminder that when we talk about diversity and inclusion, which are different things, it's not just face value. There are hidden parts of diversity and inclusion as well. And so acknowledging that is a big part of bringing it, whether it's a leadership team or it's a mid-management team or it's even entry level. You know, one of the panelists that I was on in the break, that I was not on, one of the panelists that I sat in on was talking about a lot of customer service reps that are entry level. And it doesn't matter. It's recognizing that those inclusive qualities make a difference. 10 times over.
Yes. I knew you could do it. Okay. I actually think we're coming up on the closing segment here. So let's finish strong, shall we? And I'm going to ask all of you this question. What advice would you give someone that feels stuck, maybe in their career, and wants to lead, wants to be a leader, but just doesn't feel like they have the path forward? And what advice would you give them? And let's start with you, Callie, and we'll go down the line.
Well, I talked a little bit about this in the last question. Find a mentor. It doesn't have to be your boss. It can be another leader that you admire. It could be someone on the TMC mentoring panel. I think Bill's still looking for a few mentors under his caseload.
Absolutely.
I've got two.
Bring them on.
How many do you have now?
I have quite a few.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
10, I think.
10, yeah, likely. Did you change the picture, though? That's what I want to know.
No.
Gosh darn it. So I think what you have to do is you have to ask for opportunities to lead. So I think that if you're a little bit nervous, you're not sure, and you don't think that you have it, talk to that mentor, or even talk to your boss about, hey, I'm really interested in moving up at the next level. What are some things that you can do to help me do that? Are there some cross-functional or some opportunities that maybe I could try out leading or try out showing? I've been working with a mentee this past 6 months or so, or whenever we started that. And that's what we've been talking about. And he's like, well, I've been a supervisor for a long time, and I think I want to do management, but I'm not sure. And I said, well, go talk to your operations director and say, hey, I want to lead this thing next time. And ask him to give you some input on how to do that. And it's okay to have that vulnerable conversation with your boss. It's like, you always try to put your best foot forward. And sometimes you gotta say, I think I have enough skills in this area, or I don't know what to do. Help me think through. So, and generally we always know what to do. It's just buried in there, and you're a little bit afraid to bring it forward. So I think that's the most important thing. And like we heard today, the answer might be no if you never ask, but the answer is generally going to be yes. So, our keynote speaker this morning used that SMART Ask framework. Not SMART Ass framework, but SMART Ask framework.
Keep it clean. This is Coffee with Kehoe. Okay?
It's almost happy hour. But, I think if you don't let your boss know that you're interested, and they may not have something at the time, but if you let them know, they could be looking out. And when an opportunity comes up, they might be knocking on your door. So don't be afraid to ask.
Great. Amy?
Yeah, that's great advice, Kelly. And I think I would add, it's never too late to get unstuck. Look for the gaps. Like where is work not getting done? Where is something failing? Like where could you put your skill set to show what you can do? And oftentimes start doing the job that you officially want. Those are ways to kind of get unstuck from where you are. And I think along the lines of mentorship, there's also informational interviews. Like maybe it's not staying within your agency, but you want a different book of business for your career, or a different government agency, and seek those people out. Ask questions. Ask what it's like a day in the life, or if you could spend 2 hours with someone to get a flavor of what they do. I think most people appreciate curious people and will support you in finding your place or getting you the information that you're looking for. So really tap the people around you.
I couldn't agree more. I would say don't assume. Don't assume. Ask. Go out there, push your boundaries, get out of your comfort zone, and ask and reach. What's the worst? What's the worst? You got to take a chance on yourself. Don't let your work speak for yourself, but actually show what you're doing. Connect that to the broader organization and reach out. Get out of your comfort zone. Speak about what value do you bring to the table. What problem can you solve? Again, what's the worst that'll happen? Somebody will say no, but at least you would have taken an opportunity to speak for yourself. You wouldn't regret. That's the worst thing you can do for yourself is not take a chance, only to regret. I wish, and then complete the sentence. It's the worst thing you can do. So don't do that to yourself. Love yourself. I love myself too much, and I refuse to not take a chance on me. If I won't, who else will? So I have to speak for myself. So do that and find not just mentors, sponsors. There's a difference. Sponsors will speak for you when you're not in the room. Share with them what you do. They are the ones who will carry that water for you. Those are the most important people that can bring you up, pull you up. You'll find mentors. People will give you advice. But find people who will take an action on your behalf and connect the dots for you. Seek them out. It's an effort, but it's worth the effort. You deserve it.
Fantastic. Okay, close us out.
Two, not 10, particular things. The first one is very deliberately avoid being self-dismissive. So don't be McCoy, Star Trek original series. Darn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, I'm not a ... Every time one of my mentees or one of my mentors starts to say things like, I'm not a techie, but avoid that. The other is embrace AI. I know we haven't brought that up much on this panel, and I consider myself an early adopter of AI because I loved Clippy. Does anybody remember Clippy? Oh, I loved Clippy so much. But in this day and age, it's unavoidable, and it's to be celebrated. Embrace it, but very particularly, embrace AI augmentation, which is using AI strategically with human oversight. Positioning yourself as that intersection between machine and human is invaluable, and it'll continue to be. Because as machines get smarter, the most valuable thing that you can be is human.
Yay. All right, can we have a hand for our wonderful panel here? I think all of us can take away some action on how important it is to mentor and sponsor and coach our teams. So hopefully we'll all do that as a takeaway. So that's Coffee with Kehoe. Thank you all very much. We're adjourned.